Friends and family, we are gathered today to pay our final tribute of respect to that which was born of our deceased loved one and friend, Abriauna Hoffman. To you members of the family who especially mourn her loss, know that we love you. Know that we grieve with you. And know that you have our truest and deepest and sincerest love and sympathies. I know that real comfort is extremely hard to come by in circumstances like we face today. So people turn to a lot of things to try to just find a brief moment of comfort. Some people self-medicate. Some people run to denial. Some turn to busyness just so they don't have to think about it. But some turn to things that have proven over time to have some staying power, some permanence, some things that are durable or maybe even eternal. And so Christians at these times have a tendency to turn to our scriptures. They are truths that have guided us during the good days and the previous hard days, and a bunch of the gray in between these two. So as we begin today, I'd like to share with you not as a matter of Christian ritual, but as a tool. It has been my help through these difficult days. Some passages from the Bible. While we all admit that we'd far rather have Dave alive, well, and here with us today, we don't. And because we still care about her and her well-being, and because we want her to be happy, and we wonder what happens to people whenever they leave us, we turn to some passages that quote Jesus himself. He said some things, it seems, in the hope that he might provide the very beginnings of comfort, just a little. When he was getting ready to leave his friends, he said this to them: "Do not let your hearts be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. My Father's house has many rooms. If that were not so, would I have told you that I was going there to prepare a place for you? And if I go and prepare a place for you, I'll come back and take you with me, that you also may be where I am." His friend John also recorded Jesus as saying this. Words that seem pretty religious and philosophical, and many times are just hard to get a hold of. Maybe they're accessible to us today. He said, "I'm the resurrection and the life. The one who believes in me will live even though they die. And whoever lives by believing in me then will never really die." Pray with me. Almighty God, we need you to be a heavenly Father to us now. We come to you today with really heavy hearts, realizing our dependence upon you. We have been told and believe that you love us. And it means that you can invade even the shadow of death with some moments of life and joy. We need some of those moments today. We need you today. God, will you please join us in our grieving? Grieve with us. Do your comforting work as you promised that you would. We wait before you with hopeful and admittedly needy hearts today. Please grant us your mercy. We need a lot of that today too. May all of us who mourn today find peace in the beginning of our healing. Your help to get through it. As humbly and in faith, and in your name, Lord Jesus. Amen. Abriauna Brooke Hoffman was born January 24th, 2004, ready to make an impact on this world. She was born a natural leader. Her tenacity to bring people together and organize projects was inspiring, even if those projects usually consisted of her homework assignments. I understand all of you came through for her good. Faith, strength, and ferocity were characteristics no stranger would miss. However, if lucky enough to get past her exterior walls, you were sure to find the most sensitive, compassionate, and protective friend in your corner, through thick and thin. Abe was always ready to defend and console anybody who was in need. Abriauna was an active member of her high school, involved in volleyball while balancing classes and a job. And at the end of August, she fulfilled a lifelong dream to attend college and to leave the Lewis Valley. The excitement she had talking about her new adventure was palpable. And during her short experience at Grand Canyon University, Abriauna impacted many lives there as well, made many dear friends. But on October 10th, Abriauna and two dear friends in Magnolia, Hunter Butler, woke before the sun to experience a sunrise at Grand Canyon. Tragically, their lives were stolen in an instant and much too soon. They left their mark on this world, and their loved ones will always feel this scar. Abriauna is survived by her best friend and mother, Sunday Woodbury, forever role model, sister Cheyenne Molly, stepfather Brady Woodbury, step-siblings Melody, Sakti, Panji, and Trisnani Woodbury, and her father Thomas Hoffman. And some of them are going to share with us now their tributes today. And I want to start with Sunday's tribute. I'm sure you've all understood. I'll be reading to you in Sunday's stead. She wrote, Abriauna, there are so many moments I visualized for us in your future. I know even though you said you didn't want children, I know you would have had babies and you would have been an amazing mama. I'm shattered and overwhelmed at the thought that I'll never hold you or smell you or laugh with you again in this life. It's overwhelming. I'm already receiving funny TikToks, animal videos, FaceTime calls. There will be no more jokes, deep gut laughter. It just doesn't seem real. I picked up flowers for you this week that you would love. I only wish that they weren't for this. I wish they were for your wedding, your graduation, or birthday. Planning for this day has been the most difficult task I've ever had to do. You've always been right by my side, planning every event you had: birthdays, graduation, Christmas, pool parties, wedding shower, bachelorette party. I've tried very hard to live up to those high standards, but it has been a monumental task. As we were planning this, I kept seeing the phrase celebration of life. Let me be clear, lovey, you were celebrated. Celebrated every birthday, every volleyball game, every banquet, every holiday, permit, driver's license, when you cleaned your room, when you made cookies, and all those other things. All celebrations of your life. This that we are all doing here today, this is gut-wrenching. Can't breathe. Breathing together. We're all grieving the future time with you that was abruptly robbed from us. We all thought we'd have more. More time, more laughs, more hugs, more of you. A lot more. Today at this gathering, we come together to share our big, bursting love for you. Amen? Yeah. Sweet girl, I'm so incredibly thankful that between you and I, there wasn't anything left unsaid. Sunday, that's good parenting. You knew and know exactly how much you were loved and what our relationship meant to me. I also knew exactly how much you loved me when I was your best friend. I just wish I could have more time. We've always been very raw and real with sharing what's on our hearts and minds with each other. So I have no regrets. However, I'm wrecked. I'm not sure how how my shattered heart will survive this in the days and years to come. I ask that you still walk with me, that I can still laugh. And so that I'll be able to tell that you are here, because I still need you. I love you, Mama. Brady is Abe's stepfather. It's been common shared history.
As I try to read this, I'm going to need to say this to him. Okay. Oh, Abe, like so many others, my heart is tearing in two, missing you. What an influence you have made on so many people. Again, like so many others, from Clarkston to Phoenix, and Sacramento to Texas, from St. Anthony to Long Beach, and St. George to Hawaii, and I'm sure farther and wider. My story of you is unique and amazing, difficult and trying, rewarding and now terrible. Part of me still cannot believe this, but the hurt is telling me it's true. It's so wrong that your upward trajectory has been cut off, like a beautiful hibiscus in mid-blossoms, and the world doesn't get to see how wonderful you were going to be. I'm so proud and happy about the relationship that you and I earned. We both chose to make it work. Was it easy and flowing and smooth? No way. No way. It was winding and steep and very challenging, and so worth it. I know it wasn't easy having a new, weird dad, dragging on 4 new siblings, and taking part of your place right next to your mom, who you adore. I understand why I had to earn your trust, and I worked hard to do that. I know you were just being protective of your heart and your mama's heart. And anyone who knows Abe knows that she will go to the floor protecting her inner circle. But somehow, with some persistence and some late-night grilled cheese sandwiches, which Abe could not resist, I was able to bust through that tough exterior and find my place. I love you, Abe, and I finally know that you love me, because you did tell me. Once. I'm so happy for this past year that you and your mama and Nani and I had together. We had a lot of fun times and amazing memories as you and Nani were teammates and sisters and friends and enemies. It bonded our entire family. You are a critical component of that glue that is holding us together. I'm not sure how we are going to make it without you right beside us, but I promise we will. I think I could write 100 pages about how much I love you way easier than I can condense it into a few paragraphs and a few moments. And I don't really know how to wrap up these words. But I'm going to keep watching for you in those sunrises and sunsets, and I hope I get to see you there.
Now reading for Abe's sister, Cheyenne. I was at the hospital when she was born, January 2004. I was beyond excited. I'd always wanted a sister. The enthusiasm I had towards her that day only sustained throughout life. Our age difference made me protective of her. I held her in a different place in my heart than I have ever held anyone else. Abriauna really was a light to the people that were lucky enough to know her. Since her young age, she's always been hilarious, I'm talking several nights of inducing pride laughter. I adore her sass, the way she'd fire a witty comment back in any situation, but at the same time, she's truly a deeply loving soul. I've always envisioned her by my side at my wedding, being the aunt who picked up my children from parties in the future. And hope you know how much I wholeheartedly love and adore you. Thanks for being here from me.
Okay, bear with me, this is definitely gonna be hard. Dear friends and family gathered today, this day is hard for all of us. It's said to be a lot easier to grieve in silence. It takes away the worry of not being able to express the way you feel, or even how to get the right words out. With or without the silence, sharing all of our moments in love of Abriauna. I'm so glad that I got to be here together to share it in silence. I'd first like to thank friends and family for being here and supporting Abriana's family. It has been extremely appreciated for all that you guys have done. For everyone here who doesn't know me, my name is Katie Pearsall. Abe is my best friend. I'd like to say I'm not good with talking to an audience, so instead I'm going to talk to Abe. Abe, I could sit here and talk to you forever, but considering I only have a short amount of time, I want you to know how much I love you. These past 3 weeks have been the longest day of my life, knowing you're no longer a phone call away. I wish for nothing more than to hear your voice again and see such a radiant smile that gives me overwhelming happiness. I wish we had more time together to share laughs and make unforgettable memories. It was devastating knowing that we had to say goodbye to our college dream and go our separate ways, but I know you were living your best life in Arizona. I'm so proud that you were able to fulfill your dreams of going to college where you felt most free. I know that's what you've always wanted. Though the distance was a struggle for us, we both now know we don't have to be 1,218 miles apart anymore. I now know you're always going to be with me, watching over all of us with an ear-to-ear grin. There's a void in all of our lives and hearts that's going to be hard to fill, but none of us will ever quit because I know you would never want us to do that, even if you were here to share it. The one thing I can hold on to is knowing you've impacted so many people's lives in the most glorious ways no one can begin to explain so. The way your smile lit up a room full of people, or the little snort at the end of your laugh that made the joke funnier. The way you wore mismatched socks with pride, and how you would never go anywhere without gold jewelry on. We're all going to miss those parts of you that make you so distinctive and a once-in-a-lifetime type of person. Although the biggest part of you that I'm going to miss the most is the way you love. You loved so differently and deeply that it was just more than love you were giving. You loved not just using affirmation and action, you loved so intensely that it's seriously impossible to minimize into words. I'm so grateful that I got to feel that type of love that is irreplaceable or comparable. I believe I can speak for everyone when I say we're all filled with gratitude for having the experience of your presence that will never be indelible. All of us have many different relationships with you, Abe. On October 10th, we lost a daughter, aunt, sister, friend, cousin, granddaughter, best friend, companion, teammate. The list can keep going on with how many roles you played in people's lives. Your treasured soul has altered my life and your peers in the most complex, promising, unforgettable ways that has been the most mesmerizing feeling that no one will be able to evoke. Your presence will never be lost or unrecognizable. I want you to know how much I love you, Abe, and I for sure will always remember these specific things. To cherish past, present, and future memories. Realize that the little things really do matter. Nothing should be taken for granted. Hug your loved ones just a couple seconds longer. Overuse the words I love you. See the real beauty in things. See that a sunrise is really worth dying for. Dance in the rain. Scream your favorite song just one more time. And always, always remember, I know what you mean now when you say everything happens for a reason and you seriously live by it. Signed by yours, truly. I love you so much, Abe, and I will hold you so close to my heart and keep the same love and compassion for the things that are the most important, and I'll be damned to leave a dent in this world just as big as you left one in mine. Forever in the stars, forever in our hearts, forever and always. I'll talk to you later. Bye, I love you.
For those of you who already know, my name is Adriana, and Abriauna was one of my closest friends. Now, I've had to give a lot of speeches and presentations in my life. I spent hours and hours preparing and being so nervous that I'd mess up or miss something important, but never have I been so lost writing a speech before. I don't want to forget or leave anything out because you all deserve to know the kind of person that Abriauna was, and the unconditional love that she was so willing to give to others at the blink of an eye. I know that I will never be able to put that love into words because it is truly something indescribable. I never would have imagined I'd have to stand here in front of some of my closest friends and people I truly consider family, and not have the two girls who have stood by me through it all, been there for me when I really needed it, not be sitting in the audience in front of me now with you guys too. I never thought that I would have to put the love that I had for this beautiful soul into words, because until now I've always just shown her, and she's always shown me. It completely breaks my heart that two of the most caring and giving souls were taken from us so soon, and it will never be okay, and it will never be the same without them. But one thought that will always hold a special place in my heart is that no one can ever take away the love that we have for each other. And no one can ever take away the memories we share and secrets we kept. No one can ever take away that beautiful, crazy, rare connection we had. And no one can take that away from any of you either. No one can take away the memory of her stupid, infectious laugh, or her mean attitude and snarky remarks, or the way she would drop everything in an instant if you told her you needed her. Some of my favorite routine calls were when she would call me right after she got off work and tell me to plug in my straightener because we were going out, and she didn't care if I didn't want to because I was too tired or just not up for it because we only live once and we don't stay young forever. And of course I was always easy to convince because I knew that as long as I was with her, I knew that no matter what, I would have a good time. That is just the kind of person she is. She's the only one who I trust to give it to me straight. She always wanted the best for me and everyone she loved. And when she loved you, she really loved you. She would stick by your side and defend you no matter what. She never hid from the truth either. She was always her beautiful self. And never apologized for it. Sorry. What I truly admire about Abriauna was how selfless she was. And how strongly she cared. Even if she was scared at times to tell you the truth. Because she knew she was putting our friendship on the line. She was willing to sacrifice that just so I could be happy. Even if it was without her. But I know that she knew that wasn't true. And there was nothing she could ever tell me that would ever sever our friendship. She was always so stubborn. I always told her, but I wish that she really knew how incredibly beautiful she is. And I pray that she knows how insanely loved she is by so many people. And selfishly, I pray that she knows how loved she is by me. And I hope she knows that I was so mad at her for going on without me. She was so precious and deserved so much more than what the world will ever have to offer. I know it sounds corny, but I will never forget the way she talked about the stars. She would always manage to steal me and everyone she loved away at the most random times, just so we could sit under the stars and just admire them and talk about the stupidest, realest stuff, and share how much we loved each other. I will never be able to understand why she isn't here with us today, making us laugh or giving us a hard time. We used to say that everything happens for a reason, but I would say that with her. and I will never understand why this has happened. But I will always consider myself and everyone here so incredibly blessed to have known Abriauna and to have been unconditionally loved by her. They will forever be our stars in the sky.
And next, I'll read from Dave's brother Hoffman. Babe, I don't want to write this. It still doesn't feel real. This doesn't feel right. You'd hate me for making this sappy and sad. But it is sad, because I miss my little sister, and there's nothing I can do about it. We had so many plans now that we lived kind of close. We were going to go make fun of all the weirdos in Vegas at night. Watch the sunrise at the Grand Canyon. And you were super excited to try and get tickets for the Havasu hike. I know it's not the same without you, but now every time I see the sunset or rise, I know you're with me. I know you're in a better place, but selfishly, I still wish we had time to do all the things we planned. Still doesn't make sense to me, and I don't know if it ever will. I'm going to miss the amazing, strong connection we had. We could sit in a room for hours and talk forever, or not say a word, and be perfectly content. I'll miss how we always had each other's back without hesitation. Half the time, I didn't even know what you were saying, but I trusted your judgment. I guess in a way now, you will always be with me. That gives me a lot of comfort. Thanks for being an amazing little sister and helping me try to be a better brother. I love you. I miss you more than you even know. See you in a minute. Saki, can you share with us?
I'm wearing new shoes. I was trying to steal her stuff. She tried to steal mine, but she wouldn't fit in it. It's too small. I think my first memory of Abriauna was on Christmas in 2017. It was super freezing, cold outside. You wanted to go sled down the driveway when we lived in that tiny rental. We didn't have sleds or anything warmer than Christmas onesies, but that didn't stop you. You ran down the slippery driveway and belly flopped and penguin slid down the hill. I was so happy to be your big, annoying brother. I missed coming home and seeing you sprawled out on the couch with 3 blankets and just snoring awake. I miss how you'd always chew your food way too loud, and I didn't mind you. But you were always the peacemaker and you just didn't care. I'm gonna miss calling out when I walked in the house, Abriauna, and you'd always answer, Saktiana. You're such an inspiration to me, and I loved everything that we did together. From the car trips we took when we were backpacking, the Tetons to the narrow passageways in Zion's National Park. I always loved your mindset to try anything scary. I always tried to pretend I wasn't scared because you were braver than me. I never saw you scared, even when we were cliff jumping or rappelling. I got my hair stuck in the rappel, you were laughing at me. That kept me going. You always just stepped up and took the lead, usually before I did. I love that you loved all of your nephews and nieces. I love that you carried them around and shared cookie sheets full of dino nuggets. They always made you smile. I'm never going to get over how much I miss you, Abe. last thing we said to each other was, I love you, I can't wait to see you. That's just not enough though. It still hurts so bad because I can't take you snowboarding or dance really poorly in our living room again. Or try to sneak pictures of you because you hated them. You made a huge impact on my life, and I'm forever grateful for every single minute we had together. I love you so much, your brother.
All these photos and none of Saki with his head toddling or belly. Nani, come here with us.
Dear Abe, there are no words that exist that can quite convey how much I miss you. How much I miss your goofy laugh and silly but outstandingly witty jokes. And your terrible ones too. I crave your presence and the immense bravery, love, and confidence you just make. Just being around you made me want to be the best me I could possibly be. Just to try and make you proud. I felt so lost without you recently. Everything I've done for the past 6 years has involved you, revolved around you, or at least went through you. I don't think I've made a single decision in the past year that I didn't ask for your input. I really don't know how to live with one of my best friends. Growing up as the youngest child for the first bit of my life, I always prayed for a baby sister. You were not what I had in mind at all. They still exceeded all of my expectations, and you were genuinely better than anything I could have ever asked for. And a baby sister. I remember the first few interactions we had with each other. We were so tense and so awkward, and closely resembled how magnets of the same charge. The way in which we repelled one another. I still can't believe we hated each other for so long. I vividly remember when we backpacked Alaska Basin in the Tetons, and you and I had to share a 2-person tent. I dreaded that close proximity with you for literal days beforehand. But that night was a stark turning point for us, and that was the first time I ever thought you're not that bad, after all. We still had a lot of walls to tear down after that, but you slowly became my favorite person. You validated my feelings and always backed me up. You stood firmly in my corner in some of the hardest times in our lives. You were the first person I would tell my secrets to. You helped me through so much. You're the person I'm wanting to talk to the most right now. Abe, I want you to know that I truly have never known a stronger girl than you, a person with a stronger will than you. These are all traits that run strongly in the girls, and I admire the person you are. You're so real and authentic. You are kind and so loyal. You always gave people the benefit of the doubt, even if they didn't deserve it. You truly saw the best in people. You showed me how to live life without fear. You had so much love for our earth and its beauty. I'm so thankful for these past few years that have been so rich with memories. We had such genuine love among our chosen family. You and I were a great team on and off the court. You had me wrapped around your finger, and I still can't believe how much of your homework and your chores you got me to do. But we both know I'd do it all again. I'm really gonna miss waking you up in the morning, despite how scary you are when you're woken up, picking out your outfits and you stealing my clothes and you asking me to do your hair every morning. I'll miss making double servings of whatever I'm making because I know you're hungry too. I miss you running down the stairs and bursting into my room to tell me every little detail about your day. I'll miss you inviting me to spend time with you, but always adding an "if you want," so you don't sound so desperate to hang out with me. I was so blessed to love and be loved by you, and I only wish we had more time. I so badly wish I could be telling you how proud I am of you to your face at your college graduation, your wedding, or even your 19th birthday. I know you're missing all of us right now as we miss you, but I hope with all of my might that you may find the peace and joy that you've always deserved. I love you to the moon and to Saturn, and I'll see you soon. Love, Nani.
Sometimes friends get so close that we can't tell the difference between friends and family. One last great lesson. We've already heard from some friends and some family. The next three are those close friends, family people, right? Waylon is next, followed by Laura and Shauna. There's Waylon. I'm reading Waylon's name. I think I do. Hold on just 1 minute. Waylon, you good to go? It is.
Some of you may know me, others may not. My name is Waylon. I knew Abriauna and her family for a long time. She's a great friend, always there for me, or anyone in that matter, at the drop of a hat. Through the years, we've had countless fantastic memories, but there's not enough time to tell you all of them. The main one that sticks out was the time a handful of close friends got invited to her mom's wedding. I was one of the friends lucky enough to attend. This was the last time the whole family was together to laugh and have a good time before we all left for college. After the wedding, we danced it out on the dance floor, not caring what other people thought, having a fantastic time. The speech she made to her mom and Brady was one of the most heartwarming and thoughtful speeches I've ever heard. It brought a few tears to me. In the moment, everyone was overwhelmed with joy. It was one of the happiest days of her life, and I'm glad I was there to experience it with her. And then everyone loves and misses you. Thank you.
Laura?
Little over 7.5 years ago, I started a new job and instantly became friends with this dynamic, sweet, and one of the most resilient people I know. She is easy to talk to, loves fiercely, and is also kind of sassy. It really sounds like I'm describing Adriana, but in truth, I'm describing her mama Cindy. When writing a tribute to my friend Abe, I realized I couldn't do so before honoring her mama. The relationship that they have had is something to be envied. Not just by mamas of daughters, but mamas of sons and daddies, and all parents of all kinds too. They were truly best friends, and the bond and trust that they had for one another is unparalleled to anything else. But let's go back to 7.5 years ago. Day by day, this 11-year-old girl, who at the time wasn't quite as tall as I am, would come up to my desk, say hi every day after school. After a few weeks of that, she eventually would come up to sit by me and chit-chat while I was working. Eventually, she was asking me for snacks. I didn't always have them, but always seemed like someone in the office could scrounge something up for Abriauna to eat. Our bond grew quickly, but only after our first discussion of one of the best, most ridiculous, and iconic movies ever, Napoleon Dynamite. I found humor in asking her if she was going to eat her tots, but always switching out tots for whatever snack she found for the day. If she got too sassy with me, I would just tell her, eat your food, Tina. Our common interest in that stupid movie transferred over to my home, and now I have a 3-year-old that calls me Tina. started middle school the following year. Luckily, we got over our Napoleon Dynamite obsession, or at least for the most part, and moved on to Snapchat. And if I'm being honest, I didn't even have the app on my phone until she asked me about it. And then she told me I needed to get it, and finally she was like, here, download it, as she handed me my own phone. She spent the next year or so teaching me everything I didn't know I needed to know about Snapchat, while saving snaps to my camera roll secretly for me to find randomly. My favorite one is this mannish-looking filter with big eyes that had a voice changer that sounded like a guy with a really funny voice. She spoke into the camera. This one changes your voice, but I don't know what it changes it to. And then it zooms in and out, and she says, I look the same without the filter. She obviously didn't, which makes it even funnier. Abe always met me with a hug and was quick to check on my family. Every time making sure to check on my son RJ. She was particularly fond of him. About a year ago, so they went through a tough time separately, but at the same time as each other, and they made sure to check in on RJ, even though she was struggling at the same time in her own way. She called me best friend, and at first I was kind of weird. I thought it was kind of weird. I'm 20 years older than you, kid. But eventually I realized that being her best friend was an honor. And she gave me that title because she loved me and felt safe in me. And I hope for all of you today is that when you feel the sun on your shoulders, you think of Abriana's warm hugs. But if you ever find yourself watching Napoleon Dynamite, that you do so eating some tots or your favorite Abe-inspired snack. And with every sunrise that you get to experience, that you take a second to be grateful and know that you've been loved by best friend, Abriana.
And last we'll hear from Shauna.
Hi, I'm Shauna. I met Abe my sophomore year of high school, and she quickly became one of the most special people in my life. Seeing her contagious smile made my day, and I actually look forward to going to class if it was with her. We struggled through chemistry together, practiced handstands all of yoga class, and probably took more naps than pictures during photography. Maybe we weren't the most productive together, but we sure had a good time. In fact, Abe and I managed to get 2 lunch detentions together, but it was okay because I was with her. It is now my senior year of high school, and so far it's brought me a lot of laughs. But I never imagined it'd be my last time seeing Abe's pretty face. I've missed her so much since she left for college, but I was so proud and happy for her to get out of this town and make new memories and accomplish her dreams. My heart just could not process the fact that when I hugged her the night before she left, it was really the last time. But still, I know she's not really gone. She's in all the beauty of the world and all around us. And that silly laugh of hers still echoes in my heart, and I hope it never goes away. As someone who I can always trust to have my back here on earth, I know she's watching, supporting, and protecting me from heaven, even more so now. Knowing Abe was truly a blessing, and I will be forever grateful to call her one of my best friends. She lived every day like it was her last, and that's exactly what she did on her last day. I don't think Abe ever turned down plans for a good time, and being around her felt so magically carefree and exciting. She was the kind of person to walk around with a stain on her shirt, laugh at her own jokes, blurt out whatever came to her mind, and live just a little outside of the box, which I greatly admire about her. Never in my life have I met someone who so deeply cared for her friends and loved ones. She was so bold, but so sweet, so fierce, but so gentle, so passionate, and so loving. Abe, I defy the heavens for taking you so soon. I could never truly be angry at the very thing that so blessed me with you. The miracle that we even existed at the same time, and the divine chance that we met. So I will thank my lucky stars for blessing me with the chance to encounter a soul as special as yours. Thank you for teaching me to dance in the rain,
that getting a detention isn't the end of the world, to laugh more often, to live every day to its fullest, and most importantly, to cherish the time you have with your loved ones and love hard. I would go to the ends of the earth for you, Abe, and burn a hole down to see your face again, but even that couldn't bring me back. So instead, I will wait my turn to be called to the Lord's holy kingdom. I will greet you with the biggest hug that my heart has been longing for, and we will dance again. Until then, Abe, babe, you're Sean forever. I love you.
Ruby.
Hi, my name is Ruby. When Sunday asked me to speak today, I was nothing but honored. I have had the privilege of knowing Abriauna since before I could remember. Honestly, she was born in 2004 and I was born in 2000. So obviously I was probably 4 or 5 whenever I first started interacting with her. I wrote something that I wanted to read for you guys. And I'm just going to allow myself to be very vulnerable with my feelings. And so I just ask that you guys will show grace and understanding. Dear Avery, how am I supposed to go on living life without you here? How am I supposed to feel joy and happiness in the things that I used to? I miss you so much. I miss your beauty, your laughter, and the overwhelming joy you brought me. I wish our life on earth wasn't taken so soon. Most of my days lately and nights have been filled with tears. I've never felt a pain like this in my life before. I'm sure you're in heaven without pain or sadness, and I feel some peace knowing that. No one has ever prepared me for a moment like this in my life. Never in a million years would I have thought that I was going to lose you at such a young age. I feel like I have this huge hole in my chest, and I truly fear it may never close. If our friendship is 1 in a million. I'm truly fearful that I will never have a friendship like ours again. We have a friendship that doesn't need constant attention. We're able to go weeks without talking or seeing each other, but we know when we turn around, we're both there for each other. I love how whenever we get together, it's like no time has passed at all. Relationships like that truly don't relationships like that don't happen truly often. To be transparent, I'm really upset with myself. When you came to say goodbye to me for when you left for Arizona, I was really not that sad because I knew you'd be back in a couple months for Thanksgiving, and I'd see you then. I was also so happy that you got to go off and live your dreams. I didn't give you the goodbye I wish I would have. I wish I would have hugged you tighter and talked longer. I never would have thought that would be my last time seeing you. We had the honor of having moms who were best friends, which meant that you and I would eventually become best friends as well. Just took us a little bit longer to get there. I'm forever grateful that we got to spend Christmas days and New Year's together. As we grew up, you and I became closer and closer and really developed a special friendship. You're truly the only person I felt like I could be myself around. It didn't matter what we were doing, we always had a good time. One thing that I've been telling everyone is that I have no negative memory of you. I never once remember being mad at you or us fighting, and I love that so much. I have so many memories of us, it's hard to just pick one. Just know that I'll miss helping you clean your room, going on drives together, or you accidentally cutting a piece of my hair out and trying to put tinsel in it. I will try to remember you for the free-spirited person you are and not how you left this planet. I think about you every day until I meet you again in heaven. I love you so much. Thank you.
You know what my takeaway is from all the tributes? How silly and unfortunate it was that we used to think that best friends had to be limited to one person. There's enough love and enough room to have a lot of best friends in there. I mentioned at the onset of the service that the followers of Jesus have often returned to the Christian scriptures to find something that's more stable, more permanent, more lasting than what we're feeling at the moment. And that sometimes the scriptures are very able to help us recover a sense of peace or wholeness. And so there are just a few passages that I want to share with you before I make some comments about what it is that we're all suffering together. The book of Psalms in the Bible's Old Testament is really just a song book. It's not a good song book. It has just the lyrics and then none of the music, so we don't know how people used to sing these songs, some of which were great celebrations and some of which very clearly by the lyrics were blues tunes. But one of the songwriters wrote this in Psalm 34, "The Lord is near to the brokenhearted, and he saves the crushed in spirit." So today, those phrases describe where you find yourself, brokenhearted or crushed. Just understand that there is a God who does not sit idly by, but who has promised himself to come to your aid. Another one of the psalmists wrote these words, "God is our refuge, strength, help always near in times of great trouble." That describes where we all live right now. That's why we won't be afraid when the world falls apart, when the mountains crumble into the center of the sea, when its waters roar and rage, when the mountains shake because of its surging waves. There is a river whose streams gladden God's city, the holiest dwelling of the Most High. God is in that city, so it will never crumble. God will help it when morning dawns. The Lord of heavenly forces is with us. The God of Jacob is our place of safety. And then Jesus himself spoke these words, "Come to me, all of you who are struggling hard, carrying heavy loads, and I will give you rest. Put on my yoke and learn from me, because I'm gentle and humble, and you'll find rest for yourselves. My yoke is easy enough to bear. My burden is light." My name is Cliff Purcell, and I'm the lead pastor in the Grandview Church of the Nazarene in Grandview, Washington. But until 2 years ago, I had the privilege of living here with all of you through this incredible valley, and I got to be the lead pastor at his church that I'm still so very fond of. I moved here back in 2011, and shortly after doing so, as I'm making the rounds in the valley, just trying to learn, who I needed to connect with to create the kind of networks where you can help people and make an impact in the town. I got a call to go to the veterans home, just our next door neighbors up the hill. And so Pastor Bill Bull and I walked up there that day, and that's when I met Sunday, Dave's mom. You know how sometimes it doesn't happen a lot in any one person's life, but sometimes you meet somebody, and for some reason you can just immediately see into their soul, and you know that you've got a friend. I don't know why or how those things happen, but Sunday and I talked about that a number of times. Just an hour together talking about some professional things, and suddenly we were one of the other persons, right? It's why when I got a phone call a week and a half ago, and I heard my friend's voice, that my heart broke. And no matter what somebody asked, the answer was going to be yes, because that's what we do. It's that phone call that you get a few times in your life, and it kind of takes your breath, and breaks your heart, and interrupts your life, and deals you one of those wounds that you hope one day will at best become a scar. And that's how it became my sacred task to stand here before you all today, to grieve with you, Sunday and the whole family, and to just reflect with all of us on how needless and senseless it really has been for us to lose Abe, Aggie, confession, the scriptures say it's good for the human soul. I didn't know Abriauna. I got to meet her once when she was still just a little kid. I think she was 10 or 11 or something like that. She wasn't that interested in her mom's friend. And so what that means is that all of you, and by that I mean all of you, knew her better than I did. And so it's a strange place for me to be the one who is up here leading all of you as you reflect on your love and remember some good memories and try to make sense of your grief. As I talk with families and we try to prepare for funerals, I ask people to tell me stories. Many times I've lived the stories with the people. And so it's just a reminder to me, or maybe a little extra insight. But for the last 2 years, where I live in Grandview, Washington, we're in a part of the state where COVID kept us locked down, and I mean locked down for a long time. I've been put in the situation where I have done dozens of funerals for people I've never met. And there's a weight to that, but there's also a blessed sacredness to get to help people who have lived all the memories, who have told all the stories. It's a blessed thing to get to acknowledge your hurt, your pain, and to just walk into that with you because I love you. And so from a pastor's heart, I just want you to know that time ran out for me to become your pastor a couple of years ago. But it is the weirdest kind of sacred for me to get to remember with you today someone that I met one time and whom you all grieve acutely. So I thank you for giving me a few minutes to try to help you with your grief and with some comfort. So what I hope to do today is to remind us all of a few things that were true of that beautiful girl, some things that I think can be instructive to our spirits in the days to come, and to remind us of some things that might end up being a little bit comforting as the days and months go by in which we learn to live without aid. It's my hope that perhaps one or two of those things might actually pierce your grief today, enough that it will lodge in your heart and mind. You think about it from time to time. But let me also just tell you, don't work too hard at trying to remember this. Remember Abe instead. We tend to think that our close friends know us best, but I would challenge everyone in the room to remember never to underestimate the depth of a mother's insight into the lives of her children. Because a mother's insight always equals her love for them, and that means, and everybody knows, nobody can love more than mom does. And it means that mom knows the person really. Oftentimes, a mother's love has been compared to the ferocious defensiveness of a grizzly bear protecting her young. Are you starting to get the point? Honey, nobody knew her like you. And it's why it was so good and difficult for us to sit together and talk about your wonderful daughter. By the time you were finished, I really wished I had the privilege of knowing so well. As I sat with you and Brady and listened to you talk about Abe, a few things really emerged as takeaways for me, and I want to share those with all of you together. As a little girl who still needed her blanket, Abe would often put it over her head, blinding herself, and then run full tilt in just any direction until she ran into something that was tougher than her. Which is a great game for little kids. I don't recommend it for anybody who's able to laugh at it. But it was a sign, I think, of some things that were to come in Abe's life, a fearlessness that compelled her to charge headlong into adventure after adventure. A belief that, yeah, it might hurt a little bit, but the benefit of just going for it would be more enjoyable than any of the pain that it would ever bring you away if you never risked leaving your comfort zone. They told me about a little girl who, while she was with others who took delight in an Easter egg hunt, finding candy and eggs, she found a dead bird instead and brought that to Mom. There should be a lesson in it. I can't find it anywhere. Maybe just that she could find the good in the bad. And maybe we all should look a little bit harder for that, because it's always there. They told me about the preschool version of Abe, who worked at her mom's side right up the hill here at Fingerprints Preschool, but it didn't think of herself as, one of the little kids. She was one of the workers there, because she was pretty sure that she was her mom's co-worker, not just one of the workers. She kind of helped, everybody else find their place and know what they were supposed to do. And it's why she got in trouble in kindergarten when she told her teacher that she didn't know how to run her classroom. That she instead do it the way Abe told her that she should. From the time she was little, she was just one of those people who was in charge. And if something needed to be done or changed, she would step up, step in, just grab the bull by the horns and take care of it. Whether that was taking care of Nani's hair and makeup last minute and tears before homecoming, to putting together her mom's bachelorette party, to bossing her siblings and parents around as needed. When Abe cracked the whip, people moved and in the direction that she suggested they do so. It was described as a playful bossiness. It seems that she intended to be both of those things, playful and bossy. It was loved by everyone when she would take over, because it was the way that she just showed how much she cared and how much she loved. So if she said it once, she said it 100 times. I've got this. I think everyone who's here today, who knew her, would acknowledge she was good. And she was good. And so it's the reason that I say that I wish I could have known her as well as all of you do. It's clearly the case that I have missed out. But you didn't miss out. And that's why you're hurting so badly right now. You're missing her deeply, and you're going to for quite some time. It also is the reason why you're asking yourself some of life's hardest questions right now. Questions like, why did this have to happen to Abe and Maggie Hunter? Or where was God on that day? Or why did God take them from us? Or why didn't God stop a drunk driver and a million more? And undoubtedly, while you've been asking some of those questions, other people have been offering some answers to them and to questions you didn't ask by saying things that they hope are helpful, like God must have needed another angel, or God is in control, or God has a plan, you just have to trust him. The questions are natural. There's a way that we wrestle with our loss and with our grief, and a way that we search to make some sense of the horrible stuff that happens in life in the hope that we'll find just a little bit of peace with every additional answer that we can find. Just know it's not wrong to ask. It's not wrong to wonder. But I don't think that the answers that we usually offer one another help us find peace or help us heal, because the answers that we give usually just aren't true. They just aren't. Why did this have to happen to Abe and Maggie and Hunter? It didn't have to happen. It wasn't predetermined from ages past by a controlling God that 3 beautiful lives needed to be snuffed out by another person's irresponsibility to fulfill some magical plan. God's not like that. He wouldn't be holy if he did that. God didn't decide to take those 3 from us any more than he decided to take the 2-year-old boy that I buried 4 weeks ago. Because a holy and loving God doesn't kill children and teenagers as part of a master plan for some greater good, and then look at all of us and say, I'm nice, trust me. Why did God stop a drunk driver? It's because God lets every one of us make every decision that we want to about how we live our lives, and the decisions that we make have very real and lasting and unforeseen consequences much of the time. It's called personhood, and you love yours. You love your ability to get to make decisions. You would never want God to take it away from you. And so we find ourselves today asking, why did God let a drunk driver get behind the wheel? And the very uncomfortable but very real answer is, because he lets me make all of my decisions too. And that kind of freedom is the burden of responsible adulthood. A God that is the kind of God that people explain away by saying he's good, but he kills children to work out some magical plan, isn't worth following, and he isn't worth loving. But that's okay, because that kind of God does not exist. God doesn't have some shortage of help in heaven that necessitates him killing kids and then turning them into angels. That's the stuff of bad theology and worse fairy tales. It is altogether unlike God, who I know. And how or why did this tragedy and other ones like it happen? Why are we here today? Is because, hey y'all, evil is real. It infects the heart of every human at some point. And we have decisions to make about whether we're going to let it rule in our lives or whether we are eventually going to crowd it out of our lives with some help from God, overcoming it so that our own personal evil doesn't destroy us and destroy the people around us. On October 10th, evil reached into our world again, and it robbed us of 3 precious, beautiful, young people. Among them, Abriauna. It did what Jesus said evil always does: steals, kills, and destroys. Where was God that day? I don't know how to answer that question for you in a way that is meaningful. Definitely don't know how to answer it in a way that takes the edge off of your pain. But I know where God is today. I know where he is every time tragedy strikes, every time our hearts break, every time that evil succeeds in its mission to steal and kill and destroy. I know where he was when my cousin shot himself. I know where he was when Brian Johnson died. I know really where he was on October 10th, and I know where he is today. He's standing in the puddle of our tears with us, because God doesn't distance himself from humans or from our pain. Instead, he's a God who could be impervious to it all, who could just stand back and let us reap what evil sows in our lives. But instead, he comes and he hurts with us. And he grieves with us. He grieves that evil reaches into our world, and he grieves what it costs us, and that humans, me included, sometimes choose to participate in evil and the hurt that it brings into this world. Can I just be really, really blunt today? God didn't kill your friend. God didn't kill your siblings. God didn't kill your precious child. He didn't write a plan about bringing maximum good by killing the little ones. God does have a plan, but it didn't involve taking Abriauna from us. God's plan is to transform humans from our broken original state into people who choose love and who choose wisdom over selfishness and foolishness that costs us and everyone around us. God has a plan, and that plan is to come and weep with us every time that his plan seems to fail and the plan of evil seems to succeed. I think the most comforting thing that I can say to you today is that God is as broken-hearted, plagues, madness, and hunter's deaths as we are. He is broken-hearted and crying because he's good. And he's loving. He's kind. Where's God today? He's at this funeral. He's got another one to attend across town in a few hours. He's standing with you in your heartache and with me here at this pulpit. And he shares in our grief because he didn't want this either. Brandon Sunday told me some wonderful things about Abe, some of which I have shared with you. But they also told me that they had a love and concern for all of you, especially you who are right around Abe's age and younger. They know you're hurting right now alongside them, and they want you to know that they're pledging themselves to do their best to live in that tension between needing their space to experience their own grief and having you right there where they can throw their arms around you as you grieve. So how about this? If you don't quite know what to do in the weeks to come, why don't you err on the side of making the visit, making the phone call, shooting that text? If you're wondering how to care for them and show them how much you love their precious daughters, invade their space, and how about this, guys? We'll just count on you to say when you need a breather from all of love. You're also concerned that maybe we'll just grieve but not learn the lessons that can be learned from Abe's death. And here's just a handful of them. The first one is this: no matter how many times or how deeply you've been hurt, don't let it break your ability to love. Abe suffered a number of disappointments from people, truly heartbreaking things in her life, and she developed a tendency to put up some walls. But she also willfully decided to break down those walls with her love and trust, didn't she, Ray? Yeah. Now, she decided to move past the hurt and to allow people past those walls, and she would encourage all of us to do the same. It turns out it's worth risking her to love people. You probably need to know what Abe learned, is that some people are not trustworthy, but many are. So check them out and choose to love them, because love is too precious and too life-giving for us to wall ourselves off from it, even when we've been hurt. Second lesson, the lesson is that not everyone gets to live a long life. So you better not count on it, and you better make the most of yours every single day. You better not leave any words unsaid, huh? So, and decide what you believe in and live by it. One last thing I don't know. I'm just going to say this as plain as I know how, and you need to hear it. And you've probably been told many other times, but listen to me. You've got to get it. Driving drunk is foolish, and it is wrong, and it is inexcusable. It's never necessary. It's always evil, and it has far too many times allowed evil to reach into our world and rob us. Don't you dare be the next one who assumes so arrogantly that you'll be just fine. Make that phone call. Brady and Sunday will always come to you. We're going to watch a video that ends our service today. But before we watch it, I want to just kind of introduce it to you, because it's from I started to say something of Brady's wedding, but your whole family's wedding. They said to me many times, our family isn't this thing where two people chose each other and the rest of the family got tough. But after working through some of the early discomfort of the relationship, they all decided to love each other and become one big family. I have some friends who come in a similar place and station in life with teen and young adult kids. They decided to get married. And my friend Michelle, I think, famously referred to it as blending a family as lighting your own hair on fire and trying to put it out with a hammer. All I can say is keep pounding until all of that stuff looks like love. And that's what the Hoffman Woodbury family have decided to do. And while each of them has done their part to contribute to that, Abe was, as we heard earlier, the glue. And she also, at their wedding, decided to kind of charge the family with the responsibility to keep loving each other. And so what you're about to hear from Abe is family. It's her telling you what she really wants and what she expects of you. And she's offering her blessing for you guys to continue to love each other. They may not all share the same last names and all that. And it becomes an important lesson to the rest of us. Instead of drawing lines between us and other people, that we decide to love them. And we do it particularly.
Okay, good. You can't? Okay. Can everyone hear me? Yeah. Awesome. Perfect. Okay, so for those of you who don't know me, I'm Abriauna. I'm the daughter of the bride and thankfully the maid of honor. It was a close one. Alright, so I had a difficult time trying to find words that express my love that I have for my mom, the relationship I share with her, and the laughter that we've shared throughout my life. The only words that I could really think of that perfectly describe me and my mom's relationship is that she truly is my best friend. This is where I start to cry. My mom has never failed to be by my side through the good and the ugly. We always joke because from a young age I begged her for an older brother. And she kept telling me, it can't happen, Adriana. It just doesn't work like that. And then she exceeded my expectations, and she brought home 2 of the craziest older brothers that I could ask for, 2 more sisters, 3 dogs, and we went from just us to being a real-life Brady Bunch. I want the absolute best for my mom, and I can't imagine her with anybody else but Brady. Brady? You bring out the light in my mom that I've never seen before. I've never seen her so happy. Every day, you show her love, support, and respect in a way that I've never seen anybody show that to someone else. You're an amazing dad. I'm really happy to call you my stepdad. And although I'm not a mushy person, and I've never fully expressed to you the way I appreciate you, I want to let you know that I really do love you. You're the best role models and parents that I could ask for. So one last time before I sob up here in front of everyone a little bit more, I'd like to say thank you. I love you both and congratulations.
How about we all just consider ourselves commissioned to love one another harder? Friends, that's today's service. I'm going to pray in just a moment and we'll be done. I know that many of you will be headed to Maggie's service. And that's good. I can't imagine the weight of your grief doing this twice today, so no. I'll be praying for you. Real help. The strength to put your left foot in front of your right one, the right one in front of your left one. If you can, we would love it if you could stick around for a little bit for lunch with the family. But as you can see, the fellowship hall where the food will be served is also full of people. So let me just give you a few instructions about how we're going to kind of move people around before we pray. We'll dismiss the family first. They'll be ushered out into the foyer. And then we're going to start dismissing with the fellowship hall first. And they're going to bring you all this way into this sanctuary, okay? That way the family can file in behind you, and we're just going to do this for a little bit, okay? Some of you will have to go outside and enjoy one another's company there. But again, by doing this, if we just let the family into the fellowship hall, and everybody else can kind of be in a holding pattern for just a little bit until the ushers dismiss you, it'll give us a chance to set up for a meal in here. So we thank you for coming and packing the place out today, because it really does communicate, doesn't it? How many people love Dave and how well she loves so many other people. The crowd is a wonderful thing. It just makes it a little bit tricky for us, but we'll work as best we can pray with me? Here we are, Lord, at the end of this thing, and it seems that as we asked you ahead of time, you've gotten us through it. People who didn't know if they could get up here and read a letter were given strength and courage. Thank you for being that good to us. Lord, I don't know if any of my words have intended harm today. So instead, I just pray that your Spirit speaks in ways that no human ever can. Would whisper love and comfort to everybody who's grief-stricken today. Lord, as many of us go for a second helping today in Maggie's service, they're going to need an extraordinary sense of your presence and help. Lord, I pray for those who struggle after this day to the place that they're starting to despair, that you would remind them that there are so many people in this valley who love and would be glad to listen. We pray that you just live up to your billing. And God, all comfort, who helps everyone in their hour of need. We pray together, all of us, especially for the Hoffman and Woodbury family. There's no replacing